Welcome back to Comics History and Superhero Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at the new Superman #1, written by Brian Michael Bendis, pencils by Ivan Rice, and colors by Alex Sinclair. And I specifically mentioned the colors here because this book is visually excellent. Both Rice and Sinclair did a great job creating what the Man of Steel is supposed to look like. This cover is emblematic of that. Here we see a very confident Superman in a very majestic pose, with the sun shining behind him, which, of course, if you are familiar with the mythology, that's the source of his power, the solar energy from our yellow sun. And, of course, this is Bendis's 7th book that's been published, full book with his storyline. His run, Bendis' run, who of course he came over from Marvel, started with the last story in Action Comics 1000, and then followed up with a 6-issue miniseries called Man of Steel, which set up the storylines that will then be continued in Superman, the title Superman, in the Action Comics books, starting with 1001, which we will be reviewing soon, and also in the Supergirl series, which will be written by another guy, but the plot lines from that story arc will continue on from Man of Steel and Superman. So let's take a look here. And again, this is a glorious, and again, we give you the basic, hey, this is a good book outline to start with. You can take a look at, see what we do afterwards here as we look through the book. And yeah, we are going to be introducing some spoilers here. So again, the colors, the art is good. From the Man of Steel miniseries, we know that there's several subplots going on. The new villain, Rogol Zar, supposedly destroyed Krypton. In the Man of Steel series, he destroyed the bottle city of Kandor, and which of course put Supergirl into a killing rage. Rogol Zar is now in the Phantom Zone as this book opens. Another subplot is Jor-El has returned. He's been around for a little while. Superman's dad from Krypton. He takes John, Superman and Lois' son, basically on a tour of the galaxy to kind of show him how to be a Kryptonian man. And Lois went along with John as his chaperone. And there's a bunch of fires going on in Metropolis, and Superman is trying to figure out what's going on there, and he lists some help there. And as we open up the book, Superman is out looking for his family, because when Rogol Zar smashed up this Fortress of Solitude, he destroyed the only communication device that Supes had with his family and Jor-El. So he's off looking for them like a needle in a haystack. And along the way, he comes across some bad guys, the Dominators, who are attempting to head to Earth. This takes place 746 million miles away from Earth. And you can predict what happens when a very angry Superman deals with these would-be alien invaders. Smash kapow. But then he reminds himself that this is a sign that Lois would want him to stay home and guard Earth. So here we see Superman in his apartment, and he's reflecting back on his last moments, days with Lois before all the bad stuff started happening. So again, Bendis is well known for character development, in-depth storytelling, and he's not afraid to put some controversies into his storyline. So again, here's the Justice League now checking out the Fortress of Solitude and the destruction, and Superman is going to relocate and rebuild, and he goes to another place where people generally don't go, the Bermuda Triangle. So this is similar to the Superman movie from, was it 2005, 2006, before the Henry Cavill era. I thought it was a pretty good comic, or a pretty good movie actually. Creation of a new fortress. And then Clark Kent is writing up about the new fortress because he gets all the cool Superman stories. I wonder why no one's ever figured out the connection. And then he realizes there's other stuff going on that's more important to the people of Metropolis, like all those fires that he is going to cover as a reporter and, of course, as a superhero. He has a little meeting with John, the Martian Manhunter. Now, this is an interesting piece here because John is basically saying, hey, Superman, you need to take control of these puny humans and lead them to greatness, and there's bad things in the galaxy that are coming, and you need to unify them and be their leader. This kind of reminds one of the Kingdom Come storyline from the 90s with Alex Ross and the Injustice storyline. One of the fun things here in this conversation is that Superman is listening to John. Yeah, so hold that thought. Superhearing tells him there's a problem, goes and smacks down some beastie. Happens again. Goes save some people. John says, hey, I could have helped you. It said, oh, this one had fire. Oh. Remember, John, the Martian Manhunter has two weaknesses, fire and Oreo cookies. All right, so basically Superman says, hey, I got to go beat down Gorilla Grodd on the moon. Don't know about that one. And he basically turns down John's offer and says, yeah, I'll think about it. But this is a very interesting conversation. And two aliens with a lot in common. They discuss that. And I think just buying this book and reading it for this conversation alone is worthwhile. And it's setting up something that's going to happen in the future, I'm guessing, knowing how Bendis works. So we shall see. But that was a very interesting piece. And then Superman is trying to figure stuff out, and he's like, why is everything staying so? Wait, I know this. Big mystery here. The big reveal of, ta-da, the Earth is in the Phantom Zone. Phantom Zone is where all the bad Kryptonian bad guys are, including Rogol Zaar, the guy who smashed up his fortress and Kandor and all that. So, Rogol Zaar returns next. So, overall, this was a very... Oh, and there's an interesting little essay, where Ivan Rice talks about his plans for the new Fortress of Solitude in terms of the imagery. That's a good read, too. Good book. I recommend it. Bendis' run on Superman and the related Superman comics is going to be very interesting, I believe. And he changes things up. He throws in some controversy. I think that's not a bad thing. All right, till next time, this is Comics History and Superhero Reviews.